So we are standing here tonight in a city called Shoam, near the house of the welfare minister Chaim Katz. This is Moti, and you are with Moti?
I'm with RAPHAEL RUBIN. Okay, he's a dad that seeing his kids in a contact center, okay, in a horrible contact center. And he's gonna tell us what happened to him over there. If you do not behave with your kids over there, you get penalties, and he's going to tell you all about it in English and then French.
Okay, thank you. So, Moti, you can help him with some of the questions. I'll just put my film onto your friend here.
This is the demonstration that he's doing. He's playing the violin, sad songs. He's going from one place to another and just playing sad songs. Okay, it calls the sad violin.
Thank you. Okay, we are in the dark a little bit, so you just have to understand that it's not great light. So bear with me while I slip under the dangerous line that we're under, because we're all serial singers here. Okay, we're going to start in English. Yeah. Okay, so would you like to tell us what the problem is and why you're singing here?
Sure. Well, it's more like a consequence of the fact that my visitations with my daughters were interrupted early July this year. The reason, so that's why I started this protest. I was pretty much alone in the street when I started it, and it's true that gradually some people joined. But what happened is that I have been seeing my daughters for a year and 3 months in this visitation center in Tel Aviv.
Why?
Why? Because it is a systematic method. About 30% of men who divorce are being sent to these centers in Israel. When it's in the rest of the world, it's between 1 and 3%. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the law in Israel prevails for women that until the age of 6, women have automatic custody, but it is only a prelude basically for giving them custody later on. And because of this law, women have the right, the privileges to basically send the men to the Merkazei Kesher. It's called supervised visitation center.
A contact center, we would know that is in English.
And here in Israel, the entire system is pretty much, I have nothing against women, obviously, but they are, the judges are women, the people who actually make the tests, it's called like, usually when the father refuses the visit agreements that they impose upon him, then they are going to send him to some kind of like parental
assessment to see if he's a fit father.
Themselves, the psychologists and the psychiatrists are all women, and usually they pay to the guys that were sent by the social assistants, and even if they disagree, then they will change their versions later on. And usually what happens is that the judge will only stamp on whatever.
It's like a rubber stamp.
Like a rubber stamp on whatever was agreed. And
what is the reason that they put you on contact center in the first place?
For me, the first place, there are a few reasons actually. One of them is I was extremely close to my daughters, and the mother was scared about that relationship. Now, why? Because she tried to alienate them. She's been alienating them because I asked for divorce in the last 2 years, and she's been perpetually alienating them. Like I see many women in these visitation centers actually alienating the children, and the women there do not report that to the judge. And I did not give up, and I kept going to the door, and I heard screams, and I did everything I could so that I would get my first daughter, the older, out, and I did succeed, and my relationship with her did not fail, on the contrary, and that scared these personnel, I guess, that is not used to that, and that's
so we know from outside of Israel that all parents who go through divorce have a hard time. Every country complains about what happens to men. I'm here because I know that for men in Israel, it is the worst country in the world for taking men away from their children, for making them pay maybe 100% mezonot, which they can't afford. You're standing in the streets singing, and we know that there are police at the other end of the street who are costing thousands of shekels just in case you sing too hard, or, you know, this is a protest and we know it's not allowed. So what happened to you recently? Because I heard that you helped your children wash their hands.
Yes. Well, okay,
and you're punished for this?
So what happens is that the general rule is that you're being sent to the visitation center. Usually they actually claim that it's good for you. It's like, it's good for you, it's good. It's a safe, stable environment where you will develop the relationship with your children. They will lie to the judge. They will not tell the judge what your relationship was with them.
You
before,
already had a relationship before they took them away,
This was in my case, for example.
So
they
you don't have to start
really
again.
lied to the judge. And then even in front of the lawyer, they didn't want to say it. You had to press them. And then, so in my case, my daughters suffered incredible damages. After even a few weeks, they hit their
So I heard that you've been punished just lately
so I've been punished,
for doing something good.
Because I don't give up on the relationship with them. I never given up. There are some men there who give up, and I can understand that. And some maybe witness later on for me. So, for example, I develop routines. These are routines against alienation. One of them is I take them by the hands and I kiss their hands, and then we go into the kitchen and they step, both of them, two daughters, on the chairs, and then they wash their hands, and then they enjoy themselves rubbing their hands, etc., etc.
Okay.
And then this director, I can't give the name, I don't know, maybe
social worker.
Social worker comes in the kitchen, and this particular day we were supposed to go to the beach. My mother came, we were supposed to go to the beach outside. We had been already twice to the beach, and I prepared clothes and everything to go to the beach. And this particular day they decided not. It's like arbitrary, right?
They just decided today you can't go to the beach.
The mother doesn't want you. No, so it's not possible. And so I decided, okay, so I'll make it inside. We'll make the beach here. So I removed my shirt because it was very hot and there was no air conditioning. I took the shirts of the kids out. I put swimming suits.
So you played.
And I played, and I went to the kitchen and I started feeling, like whatever
something for water to splash.
And then the director came in and she said, hey, you can't be like this, dressed like that, and you can't wash their hands here. It's not allowed. This is a public space. And then you see her, there is actually a video that came out on the internet. She goes, Michael, who is Michael? It's like the guard. It's like for such a really
because we know that you have guards in the contact centers here. Yes,
like
we learned this. Bars. It's like a prison, really.
So for me, because I never gave up on the relationship, and I always complained about heart rate and incitation, then they always picked on me.
So what was your punishment for this?
Me, so immediately after that, I got a letter from the social worker, another social worker, that the visitations are suspended until I will be explained what to do. And then I immediately, the next day, I went in the street and I played violin at the exact same hours that I was supposed to see my kids.
Okay.
And then out of a sudden it happens that somebody saw me, a journalist, and then that's how I got to Arutz Echad.
So can I ask you, if you had a message to tell people outside Israel, what would you like to change here? What kind of help would you like? What would you say?
The kind of power that is being given. First of all, men should not be naive. I was naive. I thought that we had equal rights. We do not have equal rights here. No, most men, many men think that way, and then they got trapped inside it. So first of all, that's the one thing you should understand. Second, they should not be given powers of the judge. They are being given executive powers, and because judgments tend to be very far ahead, 6 months, a year, 2 years, then it's very easy to get disconnected of your children.
I understand.
Third, especially in terms of payments, you should not see your children half the time and pay the entire amount of money.
We understand here that even if you have the children, yes, we have cases where even when the father has the children, they still pay the child support to the mother who doesn't have the children. This is unbelievable for everyone outside.
That, you just told me that you got all the visits are suspended until further notice.
Yes, so what happened is that last week they sent me a letter, a social worker, that I have to give my telephone to this policeman that I said she meant in the video, and otherwise the visitations will be stopped. They tend to talk to you like you're a dog.
So you're like a criminal.
Like a criminal. And then I refused, and they didn't do anything that particular day. That was last Thursday. And today, I got a letter saying, because of your behavior, they don't say what behavior, that obviously that's Why? Because with my telephone, I take pictures of my children. I put them on Facebook.
And this is against the
And
rules.
this is against their rules.
So basically, you're a very loving father. You love your children, and you're in a country that doesn't help fathers very much. We know this. I know this. And people outside might say, yeah, that sounds like America or Britain, but it's not the same, is it?
No, because
it's
here
completely different.
Because here it's systematic and the numbers are massive. Here, it's everything is it's hard to believe, I know, but it's everything. I hear people who get heart attacks, who live in the street, they live in basements with their parents. They have no. Once you get divorced,
there is no future.
You have no future.
And we also know that every day a father takes his life.
Rich, obviously. If you're not from a rich family,
you have no future. We understand.
My question
last
is,
question, because we have limited time.
Okay, you made Aliyah from France.
Yeah.
How long ago?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Okay, if you could turn the wheel back, okay, would you make Aliyah to Israel? Be honest.
I would, actually. I think that Israel has a potential. I do think that it's a new country and that the social problems have instead of I think that what happens to men here is a consequence of the religion, of the consequence of I think that it's I don't disstate Israel. I don't regret the decision. I hope that maybe by my actions and other people's actions there will be a change.
So you want change?
I want to change.
We're going to try.
I call it corruption.
Yeah.
Okay, we call it corruption. A lot of people call it child trafficking.
I'm not here to. I'm not here to attack. I'm here to help.
Well, can you also tell us just one last message? We're going to send this video to the Stolen Children of the UK site, who are also demonstrating for children. Can you send the English a message, because this is special for the English, that you support the fathers and the parents and the children in England, because they're marching with us this week. Can you give a message to the English fathers?
Yes, I mean, I myself lived in England for a few years.
So just send a message of support
I encourage you in your fight for both men and women to have equal rights with their children.
Thank you.